The M1 MacBook Pro only really has one competitor, and that is the Surface Pro X. So since I was really satisfied with how the M1 MacBook Pro was, I decided to buy this. So you might be asking how I got this. So I actually previously purchased a Surface Pro 7, and I decided to return that, pay the extra money, like $100 extra, to buy this, since it was on sale at the time. And I just have to say, this product is better than what most reviewers say. So let's get into this. First up, I just want to say, I used this device more as a tablet than a laptop. And here's why. This type cover is okay. Now, I'm saying this because type covers, in all honesty, are stupid. I hate how it's just like sitting there. I hate how Microsoft does it with this, design, but this is okay. Some complaints I have with it are the keys just feel a bit mushy, I guess. So some people don't like this. I personally don't care, but there's no inverted T arrow keys. It is the full-sized arrow keys on there. And the trackpad on this is just really mediocre. It's pretty small. It's decently wide, though. So what is that noise? Okay, I don't know what that noise is, but comparing it to a unibody MacBook Pro, you see, the MacBook Pros looks to be smaller until you realize the MacBook Pros got more height in the trackpad, and that's really what matters, since if you're scrolling, this is hard, but like scrolling side to side, that's easy, but scrolling up and down, that's a bit harder on this. And I like how they actually redesigned the keyboard in a way that if you look at the pins now are built into these magnetic things that keep it held down, and they are no longer a separate thing in the middle. I kind of like that. Kind of feel like that's, losing, I guess, rigidity. But, yeah, overall type cover's okay. You're probably going to buy the type cover with this. But if you don't, I have to say, as a standalone tablet, this does pretty good. So, I actually liked this more as a tablet than a computer, because in the past I've dealt with iPads, Android tablets, and the such, and this just feels more like a tablet. I like this because if you want to watch a video, the iPad doesn't have a kickstand, but in this, you can just simply put it down anywhere. You don't have to have any extra cases. It's built in, and I really like that. Another thing I really like is this has 128 gigabytes base storage, which for a Windows computer, that seems really low. For a Windows tablet, however, that seems decent, because what are you going to store on a tablet, really? And you can even pop out this little cover right there and access the SSD and the SIM card slot, since these devices have cellular connected. It's LTE, so no 5G, but I don't think there's any consumer tablets that have 5G yet. And it's just overall pretty decent. So let's talk about the I/O. So I'm going to compare this to a MacBook Pro now, and it's better than the MacBook Pro. So if my camera will focus, you see they still use that Surface connector. Thank you, Microsoft, for not getting rid of the Surface connector. It is the best thing ever. It's pretty much MagSafe. So if this camera is going to focus, you can also see there is 2 USB-Cs somewhere. Oh wait, that's on the other side. So there's 2 USBs, and there is a headphone jack. Oh wait, actually there's no headphone jack on this. So if you enjoy your headphone jack, sucks, because there is no longer a headphone jack. So I guess I can't say that I/O is better than the MacBook, because there's no headphone jack, and for a laptop, that just kind of sucks. I'm kind of disappointed in Microsoft for that. Now, they're still doing this absolutely horrible button placement. You really think, so when you're holding it like this, you don't really know which button is up and down for volume. and that's just really annoying. Also, let's compare this I/O to the iPad Pro real quick, since I know that Microsoft is going to say it's better than the iPad Pro. Yeah, it's better. iPad Pro doesn't have a headphone jack. iPad Pro has one USB port, or USB-C port, I mean. So yes, this is technically better than the iPads. On the back, sorry, I kicked the tripod. Anyways, we have a camera. This camera's useless. I don't know why it's there. I don't know why they didn't just, use that space for something else, like a headphone jack. And I'm not trying to be one of those people who complain about headphone jack. I don't use them, and I genuinely only just now noticed there wasn't a headphone jack. Anyways, there's a camera which is useless on a tablet. I don't think that tablets should really have a camera, like a back camera, except for document scanning, I guess, but just make something in the software to scan it from your phone. And on the front, there's a front-facing camera. Good for video calls, it's okay quality, feel like it's kind of better than the back camera. And, yeah. Come on, camera, just focus. Anyways, so, on this side we have the power button, which it's an okay placement for a power button. It's dead right now because I haven't used it in a while, but they used to keep the power buttons and all up top, but they can't do that now since this has the cellular antenna up here. One thing I have to say is, this thing doesn't have Wi-Fi 6. That sucks. I hate the fact that this doesn't have Wi-Fi 6, because for people like me with a Wi-Fi 6 capable router, it's just like, this product was released in 2019, still doesn't have Wi-Fi 6. Anyways, let's talk about performance, since that's probably what you all came here to know. If you're doing daily tasks, like, maybe a bit of document writing, video watching, just that kind of stuff, daily tasks, this is the perfect device for you. The battery life is good. It's not as good as the M1 MacBook Pro, but, again, this is not the M1 MacBook Pro. But battery life, way better than any other Windows laptop that I've used. So, I gotta say, battery life is great. In all honesty, you can get a day of battery life out of this. Let's talk about the creative side of things. This is where this thing falls short, because this doesn't support anything other than Adobe Photoshop on the Adobe side. And that sucks, because you can't... Oh, I keep on hitting my tripod. Anyways, I wanted to use this for, to see how the video editing performance was, and, you just can't, because, in all honesty, you can't get any, professional things to work on here, because you can get the beta of Photoshop for Microsoft SQ1 products, or whatever they call the processor, but you can't get Premiere, you can't get Lightroom, any of that. So I know there is the Microsoft Store, you can get whatever from the Microsoft Store, but most people don't use the Microsoft Store. This has x86 emulation, but you still can't download stuff from Adobe Creative Cloud. So, that's just what kills it. Macs have all kinds of emulation, and, they have, like, Rosetta 2 for transferring Intel apps. And the sad thing about this is, I can get over all of that with the MacBook, because I know for a fact that everyone's just gonna, adopt the M1 devices. And also, this is getting kind of tiring, so I'm gonna take this over here. But nobody has really adopted this device. Like, nobody is making their apps for Microsoft ARM or Microsoft SQ1. And that just sucks, because it's a really good product, but it's ruined by developers and poor support. So, if you're looking at this from a Windows tablet point of view, it's good. You should get it. But if you're looking at this for a creative point of view, like video editing and all that, honestly, it's not worth it, because I doubt that Adobe or anyone's really going to support this. And honestly, in the future, how many people are going to, develop for this? It's probably going to end up like the Zune, unsupported, hated, and they're probably going to stop updates on this, because this is Microsoft Silicon. You really don't, if you wanted to put some custom OS on here, I don't think that you really could. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. And I hope that you could make a decision on whether you want this or not through this video. But if you want a creative thing, go for Surface with Intel. If you want a tablet and a media device and all that stuff, then go for this. Goodbye.